So one of the most interesting stories that I heard off the rip was about how you blew up the Bobby Shmurda record. Tell me about that.
Oh my goodness. Wild story. Chilling in my crib in California at the time. Me and my ex. We chilling. We have this independent label, right? And he plays this record. He said, yeah, this young want me to sign him. You know, that's how they talk. This young want me to sign him. What do you want? I said, all right, play it. At the time, I'm working on Rihanna, J-Lo, a couple other artists, big name artists, pop artists, crossover records. So, you know, we thinking like, you know, we ain't stunting no, like really rap stuff, because rap stuff wasn't really popping at the time, right? I said, go ahead, play it. So he plays the record. I'm like this. I'm folding clothes and stuff. I'm like, oh, yo, this is lit. I said, play it back. He plays it back. I said, oh, I like this. I said, this is a hit. Sign him. So I hit my lawyer up. Shout out to Michelle Sanguinetti. I hit her up and I said, basically draw up some paperwork so we could sign these boys to our label. And he's like, oh, you like this? For real? I was like, yeah. He said, man, it's old. And I said, what you mean it's old? He was like, come check it out. So he had the video pulled up. And I look, and I see them, they doing the tunes. And so we so hot. They doing a dance, they doing all that stuff. He throws that up. I'm like, oh, this is it.
So how did he come up on the record in the first place?
So he came up on the record because they were some young boys from his neighborhood. And they all grew up in Brooklyn and all that stuff. So he was like, maybe big bro. I don't know what he was to them because I'm not from there. But, you know, they knew him from Brooklyn. So he's like,
how was he hip to be in the state to be managing artists?
Well, at the time, you know, A, he was with me, you know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it real.
Yeah.
And then B, you know, he was around a lot of music people. Fab, he grew up with Fab and all of them. I actually had already had 2 songs with Fabulous on there already. And then I had already written for Rihanna, Christina DeBarge, and a couple other people at the time.
So what was the name of your record label?
The name of our record label together was Stone Cold Music Entertainment.
Okay.
Yeah.
The song was old.
Yeah, so when I heard the record, when he played it for me, it was already, when I looked at it, it was about 1 year and 2 months old already. And it had about 1,250, like 1 or 2 views in totality.
Yeah.
So it didn't even have over 1,300 views on the entire video when I heard it. And it was already 1 year and 2 months old.
Do you know if it was uploaded to his own channel at the time?
I don't know what channel it was uploaded to. All I know it was on YouTube because we weren't really... This is right around the era where everything was starting to go digital. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So nobody really cared about... Oh, we weren't tracking stuff like that, if you know what I mean.
So you're folding clothes, you're in the house.
Legit.
Yeah.
Cleaning up, right.
He's pulling back the record and something clicks.
I said, this is a hit. And he said, it's old. I said, to you it's old. To this YouTube it's old. But nobody's heard this before. I said, look how many views. 1,251, 52 views. Nobody's heard this record before. It's not old.
Man.
A song is only old when everybody's heard it before and it's like, okay, it's played out, it's old now. You know what I'm saying? So we were in the time, like I said, where we were getting ready to cross over to everything going digital and streaming starting to happen and people going viral on different things. Now, people had already gone viral on Vine and on, I think Soulja Boy had went viral on YouTube. And then there was a couple of other artists that went viral on like Vine and ended up getting signed to a deal. A friend of mine who went to school with me back in the day, he hits me up. He's like, Ursula, I want you to come to this meeting with me. I gotta go meet with my guy over at Interscope, which was also a mutual friend of his. So we go to the record label, we meet with this executive, and he's like, oh, you know, yeah, he's telling us about how this artist went viral on Vine and how, you know, how many followers do they have and stuff like that. And we were like, what do you mean? How many followers do they have? Yeah, you know, right now we're getting ready to sign people with big followings and all this stuff. Look how many followers this person has. It's like, look, they got these fans already built in, and we like, what? The actual record sales were getting ready to phase out. This is a time when they were phasing out. And streaming was starting to become more popular. They were like, we want to have sign artists that have ready-made fan bases.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they were talking about in there. So I had just left this a tech conference. Old neighbor of mine, I used to live in this community. I told you about it.
Yeah.
I used to live in this community, and in this community, it was a bunch of lit people. I mean, it was Gilbert Arenas was my neighbor. A couple of football players. The guy who was an understudy from the guy from Fox. I mean, it was like a real lit community, but a very small community because they were building it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the guy who was the understudy from the guy from Fox, he also worked with Nickelodeon and Nick Cannon. He was like a child protege at the time, and he ended up growing up, and then he asked me to come to this tech conference or whatever because he was doing something there. And that's when I learned about hashtagging. So I said, okay, I know what to do. Because we talking about GS9 boys. I said, I know what to do. I'm going to start planting seeds. L.A. Reid gave me a publishing deal through his new publishing company, L.A. Reid Publishing. And I was the only female solo songwriter that he had signed to his company. And with doing so, he had me everywhere. He introduced me to every executive and head and VP and of every single record label. I was in every building, and he had TA, who was one of the people working for his publishing company, and also Jay Holiday's ex-manager, hand walk me in to each one and meet them personally. So now when I'm back in the buildings and they're asking me, who you working on? I'm like, oh, you know, Rihanna, J-Lo, Music Soul Child, da-da-da-da. Oh, and, you know, the GS9 boys and Bobby Shmurda, blah, 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 right? Rowdy Rebel. They're like, who? I'm like, you don't know who they are? Right? And they're like, oh, yeah, I think I do know who they are. I know you don't know who they are because they got 1,252 views on YouTube. I 100% for a fact know that you don't know who they are. Yeah. But I'm saying this, but I'm adding their names with these A-listers and these elite artists.
Planting the seed.
I'm planting the seed, right? So I'm planting the seed at every record label I'm going. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Because I know that everybody wants to be a part of something hot. Yeah. Hot. You feel me?
Hence the song. Yeah.
Hence the song. So I'm like, okay, being that I know that you can't admit that you've never heard of this person. I know that you're gonna say that you have. So now I got their names buzzing in people's ear. Yeah. Now, check. That's check one. Check two. After leaving the tech conference, I'm like, okay, we gotta go viral. Viral on what? We didn't know yet at this point, right? Because you got Vine, you got YouTube, you've got this, and Instagram. Instagram was just bubbling at this point in time, right? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, we gotta go viral. I don't know on what at this point, right? Then when we circle back to the meeting at Interscope, I'm like, okay, we need a following. So what do? We build up their following. How do we do that? I got an idea. And I said, and if I do this, I'm a genius. If this works, I'm going to pop my collar. You feel what I'm saying? Yep. So I called up, and Sean Barron, my witness, he's over at Empire now, but at the time he was working underneath Mike Karen at Atlantic. Sean, listen, I got these guys, and they are dope. And you know, I don't call you about no rappers. This is what I told Sean. Sean, I tell you, let's set up a meeting. Let's do this. So I plant the seed over there as well. You feel what I'm saying? He's like, oh, let's fly him in. Yada, yada, yada. I said, say less. So I tell my ex, we're going to set up the meeting with LA and we're going to set up the meeting at Atlantic. We got to get them buzzing. Yeah. We got to get them buzzing.
From when you first heard the record, now going through the tech conference, planting the seed in all the execs' ears, where are we at now? How long since you first heard the record to this point?
Less than a week.
Oh, really?
Less than a week. I move fast.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, one thing about me, I'm the type of person, I don't speak about it, I be about it. I don't talk about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And we'll get to that later. Because a lot of times I do things that people don't know until it's done. Yeah. And then sometimes when it's done, they don't know either. So anyways, what ends up happening is it's about a week and a half go by, you know. I said, okay, how can we do this? We're going to call up everybody that we know from Cali, Atlanta, Brooklyn, everybody. I'm working with Idris Elba, right? It's around the same time. I have been working with him for a few years. He was working on the TV show The Wire before that, you know, and he ended up blowing up from that. So we had a relationship because I was writing music for him. Needless to say, we had a conversation, me and Idris, and we were laughing. They were talking about, at the time, something had went viral before that. It was a young lady they called Soldier Girl. And she like made national news. So she was like, Soldier Girl up in this thing, watch me, you. And she was on the MARTA train.
Okay.
It was a big deal. Like she was talking about Jeezy and all types of stuff. And the actual YouTube clip went viral internationally, you know, because of what this lady did.
Soldier Girl out in that hoe. Watch her crank and watch her roll. Why me crank that Soldier Girl, that Superman, that hoe, now watch me, yo. Yeah.
What ends up happening is we're just talking and he was talking about how Jay-Z and Beyonce were in the studio and that, you know, how they were laughing at that because they seen it on Instagram. This is what gave me the idea, Instagram, right? I said, oh, okay, so everybody is on Instagram.
Yeah.
So you can't reach these people personally. It'll be very hard for you to set up a meeting with this person and that person and this person. But guess what? Everybody's interconnected from Instagram. So I knew that, or I thought that, okay, we gotta find a way for the algorithm to trigger to make everybody see this. Everybody has to see this video. How can we do that? Okay, I learned at the tech conference, if we post it, we have to put the hashtag. And anytime somebody puts the hashtag, it'll connect it. So if you click on that hashtag, it'll show all the people who posted it. So I said, we're gonna make everybody do this. So I told my ex, I said, hey, call up all your homies and tell them we gotta post this stuff. Everything has to be done within the first 24 to 48 hour period together for it all to hit at the same time. I said, we want to trigger the algorithm and we want this stuff to smack everybody in the face. So we had all the hot people in Atlanta, Ruggs, just everybody who was somebody, plus everybody who we just knew from the hometown here, everywhere, just posted. And I said, it has to go with the hashtag. So he's on the phone with somebody and I said, they didn't put the hashtag on it. And he's like, man, you bugging. He like, you bugging, Urs. You know, like he really was like, you bugging. I was like, no, call him and tell him, nah, man, I'm not about to, you tripping. You got me calling niggas, telling them, da 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 da. I said, listen, you gotta put that, because back in the day, you couldn't change it. It had to be the video with what you wanted to say. Yeah. And if not, you gotta take it all the way down and repost it. Yeah. And I said, everything has to connect, man. I was passionate about it and I was serious about these connections. You know what I'm saying? So he ended up, you know, calling somebody and they on the phone. He was like, yeah. And I said, tell him to post a video. Tell him to post a video. He's like, yeah. So he was like, I'm bugging, man. This nigga's ain't talking about something. I was like, tell him to post a video. And put the hashtag. Like, I was bugging for real. I was bugging. I ain't gonna lie. So he was like, yeah, you know, I was like, give me the phone. Hey there, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go ahead and post this, and then when you do it, I want you to hashtag this, da, 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 da. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it later. I was like, no. I need you to do it while I'm on the phone. Yeah. And this is what I was doing to people. I'm just all day.
But how long were you doing?
Oh man, for 2 days.
4 days.
But then it hits.
Yeah.
It hits. 72 hours later, it hits. It's viral.
And now
it's viral. Now they got memes, throwing hats up from sure you so high there. I was like, oh, I just thought I was a genius. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, Urs, you a genius. You feel what I'm saying? So ends up happening is it goes viral. Now you got everybody doing a Bobby Shmurda dance. Now granted, remember, that song went viral on Instagram and Twitter with no plays on the radio. Yes. There were 0 plays on the radio, which is unheard of at that time. You know what I'm trying to say? Because even when Soulja Boy would go viral, he would play his songs on the radio. You feel what I'm saying? Yep. This song was not on the radio, but now you got Jay-Z and Rihanna and them posting like this. You had them, I remember, I think it was a Ye concert. It was like Jay-Z and Ye had a concert together. They playing the song. I was like, what?
It's going crazy.
It goes crazy. It goes crazy.